A few weeks ago, I went to preschool for their portfolio, and there was the mantra, who are you? The bottom is way too crowded. I was listening to my 4-year-old son and his classmates talking and saying this mantra, and I think that I said to the preschool principal and the class teacher that this mantra, it is more important to me than those children. When you see 4-year-olds saying that the bottom is way too crowded, that they will not give up, they will not stop because they are tired, they will stop only when they are done. You understand? When children know who they are at that age, when children can say a mantra that you say for about 3 minutes, end to end, who am I? When children are made to build confidence at that age, I'll be honest with you, tears welled up in my eyes. Hi, my name is Azukaego Chukwuelue. I'm a mother of 4. A supply chain professional who has been in the private sector, multinationals for over 20 years. And now I'm a private business owner, running a startup, an entrepreneur in the MSME ecosystem. Greensprings, it's been a journey of 12 years. 12 years and 4 kids. The first just graduated in year 11, and the last is in preschool. Interesting story because my first child didn't start from Greensprings. She was in preschool somewhere else, and I realized that where she wasn't getting what I needed. So when a class of pupils where only the kids who were outspoken got picked to answer questions or engage, and for me that was a risk in the sense that the world we live in today looks for kids who are able to express. And where kids are not given the opportunity to express because they are quiet in class or they are not first or early adopters was a concern for me. And that's where the quest for another school where that was a fit for my daughter started. My daughter is Chizuram. And so I went around and looked at about 12 schools all around Lagos, some boarding, some had boarding facilities going for the future, and some day. And I settled for Greensprings for 3 reasons. Interestingly, there was this perception that Greensprings was really, really way more expensive. But when I checked like by like, the fact that the school served meals, the fact that uniforms were in the total package cost and all of that, when I did that level of analysis, that's my background, it became clear that it was a perception, but not necessarily the case. It was very cost effective for me, and everything had been considered in the school fees. Secondly, when I engaged with Greensprings students, I saw something different in the sense that there was the confidence to interact, to express. At the same time, there was the humility, the respect to know when to be calm and stay in their space. So that balance was critical. And when you enter a school, the way the students greet you, those things come true to you and you say it, And then finally, in engaging with the teachers, I felt a sense of community. Teachers who had an interest in the child. When I had conversations with them and I asked them a couple of questions, the teaching staff gave me that confidence. Those are 3 reasons why I took my child out of the formal school and to Greensprings, and since then all of them have been Greensprings students. kit is 4 different things, right? So with the first, the child who would not ask to speak and will wait to be called, that child is the child today who makes conversation, who won the Best All-Round Entrepreneurship Award at her graduation, who was voted Miss Nice Inside and Out. You know, that's the child that can express today. That's the child that can take ownership. That's the child that can stand on the stage. That's the child that can initiate today. So it's a lot of difference for that child. And that's the child who is no more afraid to take on what she believes in. And that's the child that will succeed in today's world, because the world today needs children that are at the forefront. I have 4 children and 4 of them are different. There's a child who loves computer games, and he learns differently. He doesn't learn as others will learn, so he loves the sciences, he loves IPC. That child was allowed to express that part of him with the way he's taught, with the fact that teachers understand that everybody does not learn in the same way. You know, the whole white hat, red hat, blue hat, you know, those kind of initiatives make for different children to be able to express differently and to be accommodated. So the inclusivity thing is very big in Greensprings. So that's the boy. Then there's a girl who is creative. She loves music. She loves singing. And you know, what I see with Greensprings is that they have teachers who are able to bring out that expression in the child. Whatever way the child prefers to express, there are teachers who draw that out. So she has music teachers who draw her out, who ensure that she gets the best part of her creativity out, you know. And then there's one who loves swimming, who loves sports. So it's 4 different children in the same environment, getting the best of their different roles. I've also tried in the boarding house, and it's amazing. I'm still in contact. So after COVID, just before COVID, I took them out of boarding and they didn't go back. But I'm still in contact with the house teachers, house parents. You know, because the house parents for me embodied what I wanted a parent to embody when I'm not there. I had those conversations, and it was that strictness of making sure you made your beds, making sure you had your clothes ready for school the next day, being accountable. Because in my house, you will be accountable, you take care of what concerns you. So, you know, all of that for me are the reasons why I'm in Greensprings. And then more recently, you know, an aha moment for me was in the 2 weeks IGSC preparation, when we went to the boarding houses. You know, I was amazed at the commitment of the teachers. So it's now not in teaching area, they were in the hostel. Non-hostel students were also in the hostel, right? The commitment of their various teachers who took turns, because they had a roster, to spend time with them in the hostel, in studying with them, in motivating them, in encouraging and praying with them, and then in challenging them to be the best they can be. So it was not like, it was not just about the students, it was all of us in this together and we'll come out the best we can be. So that sense of ownership and belonging, that sense of understanding that it's not about the parents alone. Raising a child is an all-encompassing event. So that's what Greensprings is about. There's no amount of money you can pay for anyone to raise your child. Neither can I raise my child alone. What makes Greensprings unique is the fact that there's a balance. There's a well-rounded child. There's a child who is not pretentious, who lives the values at home and lives the same values in school. So, there's no need to be one person on this side and be another person on this side. There's a child who is allowed to express every part of him or her. What is your best side is nurtured. I'll tell you, that the things in my generation we used to be punished for as a child, talking too much, playing too much, being outside a lot, are the things we're paid for today. Talk shows, pictures, social media, watching TV, creating content. We're paid for it today, but as a child, we're beaten up for it. The careers of today will not be available in 10 years. What will be available, however, is the creativity of a child, is the talent a child has, is the confidence you've instilled in the child, is the ability for that child to stand in public and speak her truths, is the ability for that child not to cram or learn because he must learn, but to bring up creative and innovative ideas. That's what will make a child succeed and compete in future. And that's what is unique about Greensprings, because that's how they raise their children in Greensprings School. Thorough with the word. Greensprings is a very thorough school. Starting from the book writers and how she embodies everything she talks about, everything she wants the school to be, she embodies it. To the person who cleans the classes at the end of the school, to the security men who know all the children by name every single day, who will tell you that, Ma, we've not seen this person today. Actually call you and I'll say, oh, he didn't come to school today because he's unwell. Greensprings is thorough. They put the same values from the top to down and from the bottom to the top. It's consistent. I think it's unfair to say one, but I think that a very recent one, a few weeks ago I went to preschool for their portfolio and there was a mantra, who are you? The bottom is way too crowded, I was listening to my 4-year-old son and his classmates talking and saying this mantra, and I think that I said to the preschool and the class teacher that this mantra, it is more important to me than those children. When you see 4-year-olds saying that the bottom is way too crowded, that they will not give up, they will not stop because they are tired, they will stop only when they are done. You understand? When children know who they are at that age, when children can say a mantra that you say for about 3 minutes, end to end, who am I? When children are made to build confidence at that age, I'll be honest with you, tears welled up in my eyes, because I realized that child who is saying this, that child who is talking and speaking with a lot of confidence, those are the children that will change the world tomorrow, and they're on the right track. So for me, it was quite emotional. Hey, but I just told you. I mean, even me knowing the mantra shows you how Greensprings has nurtured me, knowing that I'm in an environment where things are done with take a lot of detail, a lot of attention to detail. Me too, I want to up my game, you know. I'm in an environment where there's consistency every day, year in, year out. 12 years out of, I think it's 35 or 37 years now. So about a third of the time the school has been, it's been consistent. And an environment where all you need to do to bring improvements is to come and give feedback. That has also nurtured me. You know, I'm a supply chain professional. There are a couple of things that are important to us: attention to detail, solving problems, having a problem-solving mindset, looking at things end to end. You understand? And customer service. And that's quality of service. That value I get for the money I pay has nurtured me to understand that if we can run small businesses and small organizations like this, then we can run our country like this as well. Efficiently, effectively, collectively. So I've been a member of the PTA, and how, where Mr. Deputy was PTA chairman at that point in time, chairperson. How collectively we worked with the school, and at that time it was a lot of nurturing. I've been Mother of the Year twice, a lot of work, but a lot of appreciation for what goes into ensuring excellence. I've also been accused of, by people who know me and my friends, of being very detailed, always looking for excellence in doing things, and it gives me very big comfort to know that if in our various pockets, in our different spaces, we can, do things excellently, put things better than we met it, leave people better than we met them, leave places cleaner and better than we met them, in our little spaces, then we can make the whole country and the world a better place. So that's how Greensprings has nurtured me, made me realize that what we take for granted, the little things we take for granted, are important, and that the changes start in our spaces. And if we keep it consistent, others will imbibe it, and we'll get to that place where we want to be. So I think the question should be different. Is how many of my friends have I recommended or brought to Greensprings School? So first is first cousins. So the other Chukwuelues who came in, their neighbors who have come in because of us, the kids that were the newborns, the same preschool. There was a tenant who came into my building and enrolled her child in Greensprings. I think her child was somewhere in Antonia, and just changed the place. My kids' cousins, they came in, we'll talk to them about it. And then the neighbors upstairs, in the building changed as well. And then my friend, who had her kids in one of the schools in Apapa at that time, moved her 4 kids to Greensprings School. And for her it was very interesting because at the point, she had a child who needed some support, and the school moved classes around to accommodate that child. So it's knowing that not only have I brought, so there will be about 12 of them now who have come to Greensprings since, but knowing that even them have testimonies about the school. And for me, it's a no-brainer. People who know me know that it's Greensprings School in the country to nurture your child to have that all-round education that you desire and those kind of values that you desire. So for parents, I think that it's important you ask the right questions. So for example, if you don't ask the right questions, for me for instance, People who saw me holding the Greensprings book here told me, this school is expensive. Oh." I then asked, okay, let's compare item for item. What is the line items in your cost and what are the line items in the other school? So when you ask the right questions, you must ask, what do you teach? What is the school's view of diversity, for instance, inclusion, equity? What is the school's view of the issues in the world today? There's no perfection anywhere, but where the gaps are, identified are, what is the school doing towards closing those gaps? What opportunities is the school creating for students? And we had a conversation around alumni network a few days ago, one of the teachers, and the question was, how can we make the alumni network better? It's just about asking the right questions. The best legacy we can give our children is education. It doesn't change. Education prepares a child to be anything and anybody a child wants to be. Let's not get it mixed up. And bringing a child to a school like Greensprings School, from the beginning, you have already ticked that box because you have already laid the right foundation. For the school, for Mrs. Koike and the entire team in Greensprings School, it's keep it thorough, keep it consistent, keep it friendly, keep it a family, keep it a community, and thank you for all you do tirelessly to make the kids what they are today.